review your situation before we kick the timer off?
Please.
Let me know when you're all set.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Old World. Just give me 1 second. Here. Sorry. Always awkward to start the live stream while also trying to provide a link.
Oh, Sion, question for you. How is the new live update affecting existing hidden scouts?
It should be active, would be my assumption.
So starting 5 turns from this point.
Yes, any scouts that either of you have that are out in the open or potentially revealed should have a red eyeball icon on top of it currently that will signal to you, if you mouse over it, it will signal to you that it will be expired in 5 turns.
Understood.
I'm ready, Moose, so you can start the game.
Sir, yes, sir.
All right. So, hold on 1 second. Forgive me here. I know we're staring at nothing. Okay. So, we are live. We are back in the arena of the Inland Sea match between the ThePurpleBullMoose and Moroten. This is a round 2 match. This is part 2 of their round 2 match. Both players have won their first game against different opponents, and they've been pipped against each other. This has probably been going on for about 3 hours now, so we're a second session in. If you missed the first half, be sure to catch up on all the action, because there was a lot of tense start to this game. We had classic schemer harass, trying to deny a city site. We had interesting and unique fun with the Carthage barbarian raiding up in the capital here. And ultimately, both fellas have managed to expand to 5 city sites, mostly ignoring this bottom quadrant of the map. Both of nations have peace with the Thracians to try and just successfully ignore them for the most of the game. We have military buildup on both sides. Both nations are similar. There's been multiple skirmishes. Rome tried to do an early tribal site denial. Sorry, not Rome, it's Persia. Persia tried to do an early tribal site denial of Carthage and was pushed back. And after a brief naval skirmish, Carthage attempted to break into Persia just as their Paulton cavalry timing has been coming online, and Persia managed to push the Carthaginians back. So our friends are now starting promptly. BullMoose had 8 orders left on his turn and only 12 seconds on the clock, so he took his turn. And the turn is now back to Moroten. The resolution at sea is such that Carthage has complete naval supremacy at the moment. There was conflict between a few ships, but Carthage managed to bring in the free Byreme card and win the naval skirmish there as sort of a direct result of their invasion, their land invasion as well. While Persia was taking kills on land, he didn't have quite enough orders to secure things at sea, and Carthage was able to take a lead there. So we have a really interesting development now, because we do have 3 ships in the water, 1 more on the way, and only 2 coming out of Carthage. It's entirely possible that, Persia, only 2 ships coming out of Persia. It is entirely possible that Moroten here could decide to aggressively posture these ships in this bay and basically hunt down any Persian ships that hit the water and deny the Ionian Sea from the Persians for the rest of the game, giving him enhanced and increased mobility. 2 turns away from machinery for Carthage, which is going to be a nice military boost. We are building our African elephants, But Siege is going to be a nice military boost here, because what happens is you have these hills, you have a nice open terrain, and honestly, even these forests, you could kind of creep along this northern forest to get to these hills and really pressure this city with siege. Persia, on the other hand, is finally caught up to their unique unit, and they have a ticking clock for Carthage. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 laws currently, 5 by bringing in clerics for divine rule, and the Purple Bull Moose does have monasticism and sovereignty both targeted, bringing them to 7 laws. 7 turns on monasticism now. Their science rate is only 40, so that'll be another... Excuse me. That'd be another math 5-ish turns for sovereignty. So between that, adding into their citadel construction time, we're looking at a potential 18-ish, 20-ish turns, call it 20 turns. And then production time of the units, although you could always upgrade existing Palatins. We're looking at about 18 to 20 turns before Persia has 8 strength unique units. So both players are on a little bit of a clock, one awaiting the arrival of siege weapons in just a few turns, and the other anticipating the arrival of 8 strength unique units. Of course, neither player is necessarily aware of what the other player is doing. Carthage would know that Persia is sitting on 4 laws active. They have not yet enacted expiration. They could be... Oh, they don't even have the civics for it. But one fun trick, if you don't really need a particular law at the present moment, you could always delay adopting it to kind of fool your opponent into thinking you have less laws than you actually do, and just enact as many laws as you can once you hit 7 as a bit of a surprise. We're also getting a 3rd boat. All right, we do like this from Bull Moose. He's really going to try and get all these boats in the water at once. Still going to have a numbers issue against Carthage, but I do like how both opponents are seeing the value of the ocean here. Again, we have a big difference between the players here. Bull Moose took the time to adopt colonies and secure his whole coast. Beautiful sandstorm here. While Carthage is a little bit behind on that development, hasn't taken the time to secure their coast. Interestingly enough, we don't have that timer there. Huh, not sure how that works. Comment from chat, wondering if the Persian unique unit would eventually counter a siege push. Potentially. One issue that both players have in this map is there aren't really any spears on the map, so an 8-strength unit certainly will be devastating, but let's not forget that the Persian unique unit only does have 1 range. So as long as those onagers remain well protected, it could be difficult to actually reach them. Of course, there is a huge concern that you have lots of open territory, and the Persian unit is a ranged unit, so it will do a lot of damage, including to any spears that Carthage does choose to bring into the map. Carthage is a ways away from 8-strength units himself. He does have 5 laws, but unlike Persia, he actually needs to acquire his 7th law. So monasticism needs to be acquired, which is in his hand right now. It will be bought into the deck. And he'll have to either get that and then citizenship, architecture, or doctrine. So probably doctrine would be the next one. We are on the new main update, so no free bonus crossbow card. What a beautiful sight to see. Finally rid of this menace. Menace to game balance has been rectified. Forgive me for my biases, but I've always hated that card, even though I use it all the time in every game. But, hard not to use broken stuff when it's broken. Interestingly enough, we do have the Scout update live, but I'm not seeing a timer on this Scout, so I wonder if it's not gonna kick in until this Scout actually moves. I'm not really sure what's going up there. I would have expected to see a little eyeball icon up top here. Or maybe that's... Oh, no, it's right here. Yeah, 3 years hidden. I am going to clarify that with the players. Oh, just a clarification on the scout thing. The icon is actually at the bottom of the hidden icon is actually on the bottom of the
And
scout.
it's not red.
Yeah, and it's not red. My bad. The red icon I was thinking is when you establish an agent network. That's the new icon. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Yeah, we do have both guys in the game. And, yep. So this is basically the way the new spy mechanic works, or espionage mechanic works. Carthage has come up here and chosen to chop these woods. This has bumped this scout out of the woods, which is working as intended. That was part of the previous update. Scouts no longer teleport to nearby forests. That's how they used to work, but now they do get bumped to the nearest tile, but they are no longer perma-stealthed. Now you get this little icon right here that says hidden and a timer. So you have 4 years to find a new spot to hide. If you move at all, it will reveal yourself, so you get to stay in position for 4 years, but eventually Moose is going to have to find a new location to hide. This is really excellent that they brought this back, because one of the strategic components of this game is taking time to clear woods to deny vision to your territory, and the whole perma-stealth edition that came online last month really put a damper in that tactic. So now there's a little bit of a best of both worlds where you can still hang out, still get some extra vision, but you also can deny vision from your opponent. So it'll be interesting to see what players do and how they react to these situations. I'd be curious if either nation, yep, we're having some chopping here. See, right back into the full swing of understanding that you can deny vision from your opponent. This is was a strategy that's very common in this type of arena, but for about a month since last patch, it was kind of pointless, because due to the perma invisibility, wasting all the orders to clear this forest wouldn't do anything, because there'd still be a scout hanging around here somewhere. But now, even though the scout will hang around for 5 years, since he's still in the woods, he's going to hang around indefinitely. But once this forest is completely cleared, he'll be bumped out of the woods, and he'll be hanging around for 5 years. So now that at least there's a little bit more, it's a little bit more tempting to take the time to clear forests and deny that vision, which is nice to see. I'll be curious. Bull Moose should be aware that this scout is here. So I'd be curious if Moose would either plop a unit in this tile or just clear this forest and deny that scout, because this scout has been providing excellent vision for Moroten for most of the game. Also, just for those who will be watching on YouTube after the fact, if you're enjoying these games, please give a like and subscribe and leave a comment. Definitely helps us all out. For those of you who are live with us, we already have 12 people in the chat. That's amazing. Thanks for joining on us this afternoon or morning or evening. Oh my God, look at this. Look at the worst possible draw you could ever get. Free chariot, free elephant, training boost, and civics boost. Do you like bonus cards? Would you like a bonus card? Too bad, you only get one. I guess civic boost is the correct play here, but man, that is abysmal. What an abysmal draw. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but thanks for joining us in the chat. And yeah, we're kicking into high gear already. Turn 65. Both players are pretty well entrenched in their border, and I think they're just waiting for their main power spike to hit. On the Persian side, it's the 8 strength unique unit. On the Carthaginian side, it is the arrival of siege, which just happened, so we will start being able to build onagers promptly. I'll be curious if he'll decide to rush a couple out, or if he'll build them naturally. We're looking at 5 and 6 turn onagers. 5 here. We're getting anchors. I love this. I love this so much. Anchors, factoring in, this is really going to deny some movement. So this is really going to apply pressure. We have a 4th ship here. apply pressure on BullMoose. He's going to have to split his forces because he can deny landfall here. Let's take a look over at BullMoose. He can deny landfall here if he notices this, by the way, which, I mean, of course he would. There's the ship right off the coast. By filling all these tiles with units, but consider every unit he brings down here to block this landfall is a unit that will no longer be defending in the north. So this is going to be an immense naval pressure coming from Carthage, oppressing Persia against the wall here, and forcing BullMoose to make some tough decisions. We do have a boat on the way, but that's the other issue. With just one ship, even if you come in and kill a ship, the naval presence of Carthage is strong enough that I think he could reply and immediately kill one ship in response. Oh, wow. Why is that just... Oh, it's national territory. So once this ship gets out into open water, we can see how much damage it will do. I suspect we're coming down here with workers for some body blocking. Yep, moving axes, and then this is the problem. We're drawing axes from the north to defend the south. This is splitting BullMoose's forces. Lots of pressure here. And check this out. Oh, we'll know next turn. I can't wait to look at Carthage. I'm pretty sure this axe can jump clear across the ocean. So basically, Carthage should have the ability to decide whether he wants to go north or south almost instantly with this ship movement. Really nice to see. Yep, BullMoose is really trying to deny vision from this northern forest. Love to see it. Also, this is just great income anyway. BullMoose is losing 20 food per turn, so these chops are actually pretty valuable to him. Fantastic thing. It's a fantastic thing that BullMoose took the time to collapse his borders like this. This is saving him right now. If he did not have this collapse, he would not have this movement. And this allows him to stage his Palatins right here in the center of the map. So they'll be able to react one way or the other, depending on which way Carthage chooses to go. But this naval presence is certainly a harrowing sight. You can see two ships in the water. You know there's another one because of this anchor. This one's not even anchored. Yeah, so it's... really, really tough spot to be in for Persia. This is shaping up to be the most advanced naval game that we've seen in the tournament so far. We've already had one naval conflict, 2 ships against 2 ships, and a third surprise ship coming in for Carthage to win the day. And now we have just a comparatively massive naval buildup for Carthage, and we have staging on this peninsula as well. And again, these units should be able to hop north if they need to. If we can get another ship anchored in this region, Carthage should really be able to just go up and down at his discretion. Let's take a look. Yep, this slinger all the way up here can reach all the way down here. Let's grab this furthest axe and see what even this furthest axe all the way back here on this hill can still make landfall at the tail end of this peninsula. So Carthage has essentially free reign to decide which direction they want to go in. And then obviously these units can go north as well. So if he can get 1 or 2 more anchors across this sea, and I believe that's coming in right now. Yep. He basically can crisscross his forces all around the map. We're moving in with an axe right now. We are making landfall. Attacking a garrison. We can come in for a rout right now. Destroy that garrison opportunity. We're going with an axe. That's a bit of a shame there, but okay. We're going in for a slinger. All right. Naval invasion of this peninsula. What we want to see after this is a ship move up. I actually would have liked that with this ship, because if he puts a ship here, these Palatins currently can they flank? Yeah, these Palatins should be able to flank. Yes, they can. But if you look at this zone of control here, if you put these red lines, this zone of control, in the water here, that will deny this Paulton movement all across the coast. You want to bring this ship up here-ish with some support, and you'll cut the Persians off from the coast. We'll see if... we're running out of orders, so it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do that. This could be awful. This looks like it's going to be a terrible, terrible situation in response for Moroten. This is not going to go well. This is exciting to see, but I don't like the look of these Paultons on these axes currently. And even these archers can make it all the way down here, so you really want to block off that movement with your ships. Do not forget, if you find yourself in such a battle in the future, and you're watching this and you want a strategic tip, do not forget that ships can block coastal movement by exerting their zone of control. That could be crucial in this fight. You could deny your opponent's ability to flank around your units. If you don't have the ability to do that, then what you want to do is fill these coasts. Put a unit here, 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 and here, and you can't get flanked. All right. Reply to BullMoose. Let's take a look. Not looking so hot for Carthage at the moment. Of course, this is still going to apply pressure to Moose. He's in full military mode at this point. He has one ship in the water. There are 3 more on the way, 1 next turn, and 2 more coming 2 turns later. If BullMoose... I feel like it's really difficult to get naval supremacy once you lose it, but we have no formations at sea. An archer coming in for an attack. We're definitely gearing up for a rout here. This is going to be awful. Yep, here we go. We have our first rout. Oh, we're going to have our second rout. Yep. I feel like every unit here is dead. Great response from Moose. We have a critical hit. Should have enough damage to come in and kill some more. There's plenty of orders, 16 orders. I'll do a stat comparison in a moment since it's been a couple of days and we're in the second half here, but we got some action going on, so I'll get to that in a moment. Another rout. Yep, every unit is dead. Devastating reply from BullMoose. I really like the intent here. I like the idea from Moroten, but lacked the oomph that he needed to really secure this. All right. Not going for the final kill on the ruler, but he does have more left in the tank. I guess he's going to allow this unit to escape and opt to try and secure a kill on the more valuable African elephant. Don't want to... That's the other issue. You do have more units and you have more orders, but you don't want to leave this completely defended. We didn't get an anchor on this ship. We really would have liked an anchor on this ship up top, because that could be a misplay on Moroten's part. That could prevent him from doing what he wants to do. He doesn't have any units left down here, but he could have surged across and tried to make a play for the top city and basically keep forcing Persia to ping-pong back and forth. But that was a devastating blow. That was 3 units, very likely a 4th unit that's about to die. They are still similar in power. So even despite all that killing, Carthage... So yeah, Carthage has still plenty more units. And yes, someone in chat bringing up that the Persian ranged unit is ranged, which means it doesn't get the normal combat bonus that horses get against siege. So in addition to only be a ranged unit of 1, it doesn't get that enhanced damage against siege. So Onagers versus Paltons should definitely be interesting. The only real issue is that he will be close to 8 strength unit, and an 8 strength unit is an 8 strength unit. We're going for husbandry here. Instead of phalanx, instead of hydraulics, and we're going right back in. This is blowing my mind. We will get a kill here. And I suppose this elephant was dead anyway. Oh no, Moroten. This is not looking good. Yes, Moose did take the time to connect his coast. He did intentionally adopt... Whoa, okay. He did intentionally adopt colonies to bring that coast in line. We have the commander coming in with an axe. We have enough training on Persia for a launch offensive. So this could spell the doom of Carthage right here. The Battle of Seasword. BullMoose always has fun names on his cities. This is terrifying to behold. You could come up and also do damage. A little bit of damage, too, with your ships. I just feel like everything in here is going to get routed again. They already can do one route on this slinger. Yep, and you'd be able to... An axe, so this is another one. Yeah, everything in here is dead. Or at least another 3 units. So we killed 2. We killed 0 in the first round. We lost 3 as Carthage. I'm doing this as Carthage. Carthage got 0 kills in the first round of combat and then lost 3 units. In the second round of combat, they got 2 kills, and it looks like they're going to lose at least another 3 units. So far, this battle is not going well. Casualties are a natural consequence of war. BullMoose is weaker, though. That's interesting. Just getting the 2 kills on BullMoose already made BullMoose weaker. So maybe I'm getting this wrong. And maybe things are looking pretty okay for Carthage. We are out of orders, though, so this unit is just going to vanish and heal. You really want to kind of get yourself in a position where you're securing kills rather than bringing in units, because I just worry that all of these units are going to die. But interestingly enough, even though Moose secured 3 kills on Carthage and got 2 kills in response, Persia has dropped to weaker. So there is a distinct military advantage, but some of that advantage is ships, which isn't going to help on these land battles.
Is it sportsmanlike to rush here, or is this considered out of turn?
What does that even mean?
It's a consequence of tight, so I would say, since both players can do it, you're free to do it. But it's Moroten's game, so if he thinks there's an issue... I think BullMoose is asking if you care if he rushes a unit right now on his turn, because it would come out next turn on his turn.
Oh, right. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Fair question to have, but it's...
You're not going to use it to attack me, are you?
That's funny. Yeah, it's one of the there are some quirks of the tight turn style, but it's all fair game anyway, because all players can use the same type of tactics. And there is the dreaded death of the ship trapping this entire army into position. That one ship death brings them back into similar power. Great tactics here from BullMoose. Retreating the Palton, and we're ready to get to work and start killing some units. Devastating, devastating blow for Carthage. This could be the game-ending conflict. Gotta watch it play out. No place else that this camera needs to be right now. Another route, and there goes an elephant. One axe or archer can bring down this sword. There goes a sword. We're one archer away from taking out... Yep, we're one archer away from taking out yet another slinger. Still similar to both players, but the momentum is clearly beginning to favor Persia here. It might have been best to wait for siege. You could have still made this landfall, but lined this back coast with siege, prevented some flanking positioning, perhaps, and made it much harder to attack into. Doesn't look like we're securing this kill, but we don't have to on this turn anyway, because these units have no ship with which to retreat from. They are stranded on the bloody coasts of the Sea Sword Peninsula. Great action in this second half. Love to see it. Good response from BullMoose. I really love the setup we were going here for Carthage. Really strong positioning, really strong pressure he was applying, but the execution was just not so great. Let's see if we can take a peek at the power score now. Yes, we had this massive lead here for most of this game now. This was the assault that ended the previous match, the previous half. And now we've had our second coastal assault here, and just plummeting in strength. Hate to see it. We do have a possible kill on this Paulton, though, which is better than nothing. If he comes up here with a flank, position this here. Don't attack. Oh, man, what? If he positioned this here, and then position this elephant here, the elephant could have disarmed the Paulton. But he could be going for numbers. He just doesn't have it. I would have tried to kill the leader. Killing the leader on a unit can give you a slight possibility of having the leader die to an event. And when you're dealing with a strong hero on the throne, she's fierce. She's got 5 courage, decent crit chance, worth killing. Not looking great for the Carthaginians. Thankfully, they are still similar in power. I'll be curious to see how they react and adapt to the naval presence. One more ship in the water, and Persia can continue to go hunting. And the naval presence and superiority will shift dramatically. Very nice to see. We have a new general and a 4th ship in the water, so it will be 4 ships to 4 once this one hits the water. But really, if all 4 of these ships come up and attack another ship, that power differential will just swing back in Persia's favor, because all 4 ships could kill a Carthaginian ship with ease, I suspect. And really, given the positioning of these units, you don't even need to prioritize killing these that much, because, I mean, there's not a lot that they could do on their own in your empire. Which isn't to say just leave them be, but if you have to spend your orders on killing a boat next turn, and maybe you don't secure as many kills as you'd like, then I don't really think that's an issue, because these guys are basically just dead. I have some promotions. 3 turns on an onager, 4 turns on an onager. Yeah, I feel like that attack was just a little too early. It would have been great because you could have positioned these anchors and tried to maintain sea supremacy while then slowly creeping your onagers north, really forcing your opponent to have to make some tough decisions and sacrifices since your main army could just teleport effectively between both sides. But so can Persia. This archer can get all the way up here. So this coastal movement has saved Bullmoose's ass. He definitely had great foresight in taking colonies to intentionally connect this coast. That will be a game-winning decision. Let's take a look here real quick. I am curious. Just to remind myself. Wait, we're going up. Locking this ship. We're going straight for the kill. That anchor is destroyed. No route from Carthage into Persia now from the ocean. 4 ships in the water, 2-3. These ships can continue to hunt the Carthaginian navy down. Bullmoose knows what's up. He understands the win condition here. He understands the defensive play. We can begin to see that these victories are not a fluke. His experience in the single-player game is paying off here in the multiplayer arena. In his match against Mongrel Eyes, it seemed like luck and the grace of God saving him. At first, nearly getting boxed in as a greedy grease. But here, clear and sound tactical decisions and reactions to his opponent's movements are just crushing Moroten back. Moroten has been playing quite well for the entire game. I just feel like his assaults are not fully there. We see that a little bit each time in various matches where, and honestly, to be totally honest, it is the hardest thing in this game to figure out when to attack. It's no fault of any player. I mess this up all the time. I'm terrible at figuring out when to attack. It's really hard to get a sense of when you're ready to actually lay a decisive blow onto your opponent. That's one of the reasons vision is so key. But Moroten has had exceptional vision in this match, in this game. However, just not great consolidation of his forces. 2 failed attacks back to back could be enough to end this in Moose's favor. Alright, back to Carthage. We'll see how he reacts to this stronger navy in his presence. These ships are stronger in general. What is causing that? I suspect... Wait a minute. Interesting. What is causing that? Oh, opinion, probably. Let's take a look. Alright, so not the best family opinion in Carthage. Makes sense, and let's compare it to Persia. Alright, strong rider's opinion, and all of these are rider ships. Terrible opinion everywhere else, though. This is not great for Persia. We do have rebels up here. So this will deny his ability to rush, but he only has 1 city of each of these locations. He has 1 cleric city and 1 statesman city. Alright, so back to Carthage. The ships are backing off, separating enough. Oh, this is interesting. Imagine crossing here, trying to stage here, and then doing an anchor there. That's probably a bit too complex, but I like the idea. Coming down with a settler, maybe we're thinking expanding more? Perhaps it's a bit late for that, but who knows? Maybe another city could help. Looks like a misclick there. I hate when I do that. I mean to chop a forest and I accidentally add a random road. Yeah, I'd be curious what's causing this. Pleased is 5%. Yeah, upset. And there you go. So that's just a huge difference. Having an upset family versus a pleased family gives you effectively a 10% combat difference. And it really does add up. Opinion can be a lot in combat. And you'll see the reverse over here. So this ship only does 5 damage, but does receive 6. Whereas this ship can do 7 damage and only receives 5. So the opinion game completely matters as well. It actually has real implications in combat. The political aspects of this game matter both financially. You get, look at this, a 10% cut to civics production and training production. This slows your output, slows your income. You get the rebels you have to deal with, and it has combat implications. So the political arena of this game is just as important as anything else. Not managing your empire well can cause you to lose games in that sphere as well. And if we look over in Persia, look at this massive penalty. Any statesman units, which he doesn't have many, but he does have some. This Paulton horse, for example. Let's take a look at how much damage it could do to something. 14 damage to a settler compared to this one, which would do 19 damage to a settler, right? So this one unit is losing 5 damage against something for being so pissed off, really. It's a negative 20% attack and defense for being furious. And then all of the cities, it's just this one city, but it's negative 20%, minus 20%, and plus 50%. So it really does add up. And all right, Persia is going hunting. We're going straight for a forced march. Does he have... He has enough orders and enough training to go in for this kill. We're going for all of it. Try not to move around too much, because this is going to be one of the ones going in the montage, because ahoy there! We have another ship down. Island Scout is pretty nice as well. Really like that. The only way to dislodge that at this point would be to attack it with ships, and we're going scouting once more. This is brilliant tactical play by BullMoose's part. Really strong use of the arena. Love to see it. He's just going hunting. Is he building any? He's building another bireme and another bireme. He's building 2 more biremes. He's now thinking, hey, Carthage, that was a really clever idea what you just did. I think I'll have the same. And now he's going to flood the Ionian Sea with Persian ships, and the supremacy of the Carthaginian navy will never rise again. Devastating, devastating. We have 41 orders. Let's take a look at quick stats now. I think we are free enough. I suspect Carthage would not launch an attack now, so I'm going to take a breather here and go over some stats where we're at in the game. So, military score for Carthage is just crashing. Crashing to the floor here. And we have a massive order lead for Persia. 10 points on Carthage, plus or minus worker turns. Carthage has gained and held a science lead for most of the game, but Persia still will have better unique unit timing due to clerics. But this could be the last thing that saves Carthage. Their ability to maintain a tech lead could come in handy. Let's look at overall wealth. Persia's wealthier with 6,000 to Carthage is 4. Let's look at overall military units produced. See, Carthage has actually outproduced Moose here. This does not factor in mercenaries. So throughout the course of the game, Carthage has outproduced Moose, but Moose has just obliterated so much of Carthage's army that it's really going to be hard to come back from that. Let's see, take a look here. Yeah, Carthage has lost 25 units to BullMoose's 8. This is a massive, massive deficit. 5-5 laws, but we do know that BullMoose is ahead. Carthage has 2 more technologies, and BullMoose is just starting to pull ahead on overall economic improvements of the empire. And they've had a bit of a lead on legitimacy throughout the game. All right, so tough spot for Carthage to be in. This could be the end. I see no point in even bothering putting a ship in the water. You just kind of have to deal with the fact that your opponent has coastal supremacy. There's no way you can juggle getting onagers out and getting enough ships to put a dent in this naval force. He'll just be able to swoop back here and heal up. He is smart to keep these ships close to this coast, because we have seen Carthage take a kill by bringing in ranged attacks from slingers, but it's just not looking good at this point. Decent economy on Carthage, 38 food, 80 iron, 44 stone, with a sizable gold income. And Persia, however, has 100 food, 100 iron, and 50 stone, so his economy is a notch better. Having 100 of each income is pretty solid place to be, especially in the mid-game when you're ramping up towards invading your opponent. We can get a luxury if we want, or we can get proud for more damage but would lose science, so let's see what we took there. Oh, the hero is severely ill and doomed, so that hero will be leaving. We have another hero on the throne, though, with actually much better stats. So that's really nice. A rising star divine adopted hero. So that'll be solid. That will be an extra 50 happiness anytime that hero takes a kill. And we're going hunting on the high seas once more. Let's see if BullMoose... Oh, we've decided, no, we don't want to attack these slingers. And we're going for a defensive formation. Love to see it. Again, strong tactical use here. And I wouldn't be surprised if all of these ships defend. Still can take some decent damage here, but we just don't have a third attack to go in for a kill. Alright, good on Moose there. Nice, threatening position to hold outside of the realm of Carthage. And exploration, putting in some good tactical use here while BullMoose hops from island to island with his scout to keep eyes on his opponent. Monasticism is ready to be unlocked. Sovereignty is in the draw pile. A decent chance it will come up. About an 80% chance you'll draw it. The days of Carthage could be numbered. Moroten could find his way down into the elimination bracket where he will fight for survival to remain in the tournament. But he's not out yet. It's always tricky to come back from a deficit, but they're a military deficit, but there is a way. Onagers are formidable. The main threat incoming from Persia will be ranged mounted units, so you can plop a couple of onagers in these woods and defend the north quite nicely. Your main risk is going to be this naval landfall. If BullMoose provides anchor all along these coasts, he could send too many cataphract archers for Carthage to handle at various different targets. Carthage, unlike Moose, did not put in the effort in collapsing his borders along the coast. He does not have the same smooth coastal movement. Let's do a comparison on that just to show off the value of this. We have a coastal slinger right on this tile, and we have an axeman in the exact, roughly the exact, actually I can use this tile right here. So this axeman can only make it this far before running out of movement on the Carthage side. If we do a comparison over to Persia, this axeman can make it all the way to this peninsula. Look at this. You can cover your entire border with the same unit. So that is the value. Let's do that comparison one more time. And this is the difference that we can go with Carthage. So that is the value, and that is the strategic value of adopting colonies and collapsing your borders. Just spend the money, spend the orders, spend the few turns to do it, and then just swap back into serfdom for the orders. Especially if you're facing an opponent across an inland sea, this bay, this naval movement is going to make or break the game, and it is one of the ways that BullMoose was able to repel that invasion. I honestly think something as simple as just adopting colonies and collapsing this coast is a game-winning move in this case. If Moose were in a similar situation like this, he did have his mountain paladins, but he might have been in a situation where Carthage could have landed a whole nother turn's worth of units onto this coast and the city would fall, giving Carthage another way to heal up and fortify. With siege on the way, you could put onagers in these hills, which is not, it would not be good for Persia. So strong play there, strong forward thinking and strategic mind behind that colony use in this game. Another even simple example is at the start of the game, Moose decided to put a specialist in this tile, which created him a little bay right here that he was able to build ships out of. And Carthage, even though Carthage was smart enough to start building ships first, they never gave themselves a coastal route for the capital, which is one of their best military cities. So, bit unfortunate there that Moroten hasn't taken advantage of the full coastal ability that this map affords him. Definitely had the right mindset in getting ships, definitely had the right mindset in naval superiority, played well in the first half, denying Persia the Ionian Sea, really liked the setup of those anchorings, but just good concept, not quite the right execution. Still, both players are playing very well. And really strong science from Carthage here. Still a 10 science lead on his opponent. Getting free war elephant coming up. We've swapped. Oh, that's the free war elephant. I thought that was the free unique unit. Instead of composite bow, man, archers I feel like would be really useful here. We still have slingers on the map. You could upgrade into archers. Go on a chopping spree, get more archers. Carthage is doing some exploration, seeing if anything down here is worth his while. BullMoose pulling back the navy and healing it up. 2 more ships on the way. Really needs to solve his opinion issue. That's going to cause issues moving forward. The death of his ruler. Oh, could. No. Well, yeah, no, the death of the ruler could actually help things just a little bit. That's nice. Still developing economically like that. Like to see some mines. Going on some chopping down here. Makes sense. You're going to need that wood. We're now losing 29 wood per turn. It's the Navy. A bunch of these ships are costing us our wood. And we are on sovereignty now. So we are 4 turns away from the ability to build our citadels. And we have 2 cities that can build them. The statesman seat and the rider seat is able to build citadels. So the clock is ticking for Carthage before we have the ability to send cataphract archers clear across the sea and disable his unit production across every city. We do have our first pair of onagers out on the map. Great to see. Nice. Look at that damage. 8 damage. Solid. Let's see what we could do to a Palton. only 5 to that one. 9 on urban. Yeah. Onagers definitely will help. Enough onagers can be tricky to deal with. Let's see what a Paladin could do. This would just be a Paladin, but these will be upgraded eventually. 9 damage to an onager out in the open. Do they still get the bonus? Yeah, no, it's melee combat versus siege, so they don't get the bonus. So yeah, that will only rise to about, that'll only go up. And yeah, I suspect that will rise to about 12 or maybe 14 damage once this is an 8 strength unit. Probably only 12. 14 would be a lot. Yes, the pace of this game was certainly set by conflict throughout. Bullmoose coming in with a scout blocking the first city site. In reply, Carthage sent their scout clear across the map to a barbarian site, recruited 3 barbarians, and sent them on a raiding mission to the Persian capital. In response to that, Persia sent a couple of axes to contest this city site before Carthage was able to expand to it. So they basically spent most of the game going back and forth, harassing each other throughout the game. Carthage came up with ships, tried to invade at the front line, and then just in the nick of time, Persian ships were ready to try and beat back that assault, denying an anchor presence. Paladins came online, there was some routing, and it's just been back and forth probably every 10 or 20 turns. There's been some form of conflict in this game, high tension, high stakes all around. Well played from both players. I think the momentum back and forth has been nice, but it definitely does seem like Carthage is beginning to run out of steam. They were doing very well in the first half, but towards this back half, things have not been looking great. Still abysmal opinion for Persia. And we have our new queen. 47 years old. The heir is another hero. Oh my god, this is great. So we have hero supremacy in Persia for the Purple Bullmoose. 3 heroes in rapid succession. This next ruler is 7 courage. So a whopping 29% attack as a general. A ruthless hero with a dog. And we can get some extra civics, which we actually need it. Or science. Oh, science would be probably a bit better because we're making enough civics that we can get the law. Or even ruthless. That'd be a huge resource payout. Would have to deal with unpopular, which would set us back on law timings a little bit. But that might be worth it. We went for the science, shaving 1 turn off of sovereignty. That does make sense. We'll be able to adopt that law in the 3 turns. So that adds up quite nicely. Going for disciples here. Not sure how I feel about that. Actually, no, I do. I get it. We're probably trying to spread religion. Yeah, the cleric seat doesn't have Zoro yet, and we want this opinion. Makes sense. Ooh, we could get veneration. Fun fact, this would actually be handy right now. I don't think we want to spend the civics on it, but this actually would be handy. We do have a rebel situation across the empire. So yeah, that 5% rebel chance reduction might not actually be a bad idea. Interestingly enough. And we did. We went for it. I think Bullmoose was feeling that. You know, the game's not like, it's very easy to be like, oh, but mythology is so much better. Oh, but, you know, legalism is so much better. Those are both true, but we have rebels now, and I suspect this game is not going to go another 50 turns, so you really don't need mythology or legalism in those cases. You don't have the time to actually make them pay off. But in this situation, yeah, one less rebel. Let's take a look at our rebel chance now in a correct city. We adopted freedom. So yeah, we have no rebels in this city. Look at that opinion. We have... Yep. The maximum rebel chance is 10%. So between veneration and freedom, we have no rebels in a city that's negative 164 opinion. And so then the same would be true down here. Oh, we probably have... Oh no, because this city does not yet have... so there's an example. Once this city gets Zoroastrianism, this 5% will disappear entirely. So yeah, I don't mind that veneration grab. Surprisingly enough. Still doing some clearing up here to deny vision. The last of the forest, the 2 scouts. both workers are doing this. I love this. This is great. Great. Awesome. The Battle of the Forests workers, civilian units. Fun to see. Trying to deny that vision. Great to see Moroten getting in on the usage of formation here. The great thing about this is that it guarantees a counterattack, a full force counterattack. Makes it very hard for your opponent to come in and kill your ships, because they will guarantee some strong damage on the first ship that strikes one of these ships. So that's nice to see. Really not sure what Moroten's thinking he's going to do with this settler. Love to see this distant chopping. This is exactly the type of stuff that you want to do in a match such as this. Moose needs the wood, and he has the orders, so just clear cut the map as much as you can. No reason not to. Love to see this. Just chop everything, get rid of it. Wow, what a lovely navy. 5 ships in the water. Love to see it. A strong, powerful navy for Persia. Strong, powerful cavalry as well. Well-fortified axemen. Protecting the front line. Decent arrangement of archers as well. Another axe down here. Yeah, strong. Let's take a total look at the military here. Looks like we have about 14 military units, not including ships. Let's take a look over at Carthage at the moment. Looks like we have 10 military units, including 2 siege, not including ships. We have one more war elephant coming up with a free tech. It looks... I think this is a misplay. It looks as if Moroten is going to try and take some time to expand. But you really don't want to break peace with the Thracians, because immediately when he does that, these 2 camps, at least, are going to raid this city, and you don't want to deal with raids. You don't have the money either to buy up a bunch of these tribes to prevent these raids from happening. So I feel like this potential expansive push is about to backfire if he pulls the trigger on it. Both players in full military development. This is one of the reasons why it's important to make sure that you build up your economy and build it to last, because once you get in heavy conflict with an opponent, you can be stuck spending most of your build queues on military unit pretty much indefinitely. So if you reach this point where your opponent is pressuring you and you're forced to build units, well, then you're basically stuck with whatever economy you have, certainly in terms of science and civics. You can keep building more stuff on the map to improve that, but your build queues will be tied up. Goods boost could be handy here. Hydraulics could be very useful, but you're still going to run into the same issue with cataphracts once they show up. Would like to see some law pressure, but you're just too far away. Carthage is just too far away. That free divine rule is a real big momentum boost for clerics nations. Strong, tense start to this session. Bullmoose is very likely going to wait to consolidate. He does have 5 Paltons. Interesting. Going with an apprentice acolyte. Yeah, I'd just be building more Paltons right now so I could do an upgrade once the Citadel comes online. Get yourself to as many Paltons as possible. Upgrade them all into 8 strength units and then just go decimate your opponent. This elephant is making its way further south, so I suspect we're going to see war against the Thracians soon as Carthage, and I just don't think you have the time to put into that. More clear cutting from Persia, love to see it. He's going to do this whole section. Great. Excellent use of orders. Oh, we have a scholar on the throne. This is a new regent, a new king. Interestingly, we cycled off of the goods boost. That could have come in handy. Carpenter. Fierce. Frugal scholar. This guy might have already been on the throne for a little bit, but doesn't have a cognomen yet. Pretty old, though, at 59 years old. We have a robust, debauched, frugal diplomat as the heir. Oh, interesting. Are we banking on getting a tribal alliance once the heir takes the throne? I mean, you have peace and good relations, so that would be a double whammy. If Carthage chooses to go to war here, he could just use the diplomat to secure this entire territory for free expansion. Again, I'm not really sure what that would translate to for the game overall, but if you work from one side to the other, it would create a slow cascade of tribal units to one side of the map. That could come in handy, but I don't know, that's not enough time. Bullmoose opting to fortify his coast here. We're counseling for the civics. Yep, we want to make sure that we can adopt this law soon. So I would probably be counseling everywhere. How many civics would this be? I guess not a lot, huh? Still, every bit helps. And the northern forest is completely clear now. Denying visions. We have 4 more turns worth of vision on the scout before it has to move. Love it. Love these scouts out in the open as well. Out in the ocean, rather. Nice, solid spot to keep a scout. That's another tactical use of the exploration law. Keep your scouts off the coast of your opponent. And unless they build ships, they can't do anything about it, and they'll just know what you can see. Your scout will just be out there taunting. Let's see how the build-up is going on for Carthage. Carthage is bouncing right back. And this is what's disappointing about these assaults. We look at this first assault where we just crashed and then sprang right back up. And then we look at this massive tanking of power, and we're already almost halfway back to where we were. So if we never attacked here, and we never attacked here, but we attack right here where we are now, would be even stronger than where our opponent currently is. because Moose, comparatively, has not been really rising in strength too much. He has in like the last couple of turns, but a lot of these are ships as well, so there's that to note. But we would still be probably right up here. And with the better capability of launching an assault. So yeah, deciding when to attack is just massively, massively difficult. It's easy for us as the observer to say when to go, when not to go, when to pull back. The victory conditions. Question from chat. What are the victory conditions? Pretty straightforward. Defeat your opponent. What that means in reality is effectively getting yourself in a position strong enough, winning a decisive victory in conflict, in a combat will usually pull this off, such that your opponent surrenders. Basically, there are points victories, but the points victories is set to high, so to achieve a points victory would take a lot of effort. You'd have to build most of the wonders in the game. You'd have to get high culture, so you could do that in the long term by turtling up and having overall a better game than your opponent, but likely what will happen before that state in most of these duels will be some climactic penultimate battle between the players, whereby the loser of that battle is effectively defeated. Which is to say, once all of these Palatins upgrade to cataphract archers, and there are more of them, it is entirely possible that Assyria could zoom across his plane, wipe out this force in one swift stroke, and currently, with what Carthage has left, that would basically be game over for Carthage. That's essentially the win. We have had several fights so far. Just to go over it one more time, there were skirmishes right early in the open between the players, trying to get a decisive edge, a decisive lead in the early half of the game. If you missed the first part, you should definitely check it out. There were lots of twists and turns between the opponents harassing each other throughout the game. And then at this stage, around turn 57, so 20 turns ago, Carthage decided to assault this frontline city and was repelled by Persia. But not enough for Persia to go on the assault themselves. Carthage built back up, tried to invade this coastal section, and was repelled yet again. And that seems like it may have been the decisive blow to Carthage. And now Persia is just getting himself into a position where he can upgrade his units to their max power level and go in for the kill. So that will just take some time for Persia because he's not quite ready to pull the trigger on an assault. He probably could get away with it, but caution is always good in these circumstances, as we have seen with Carthage already. A forward assault, an ill-timed forward assault can get beaten back, and it can swing momentum in your opponent's favor wildly. So it's always important to make sure that if you go for the kill, you can secure it. Which, of course, is an incredibly difficult skill to acquire in this game. It's very easy to get wrong, even for veteran players. We've seen experienced multiplayer duelists in this tournament have failed timing attacks, effectively boot them out of the game more than once. So, definitely a difficult thing to get right. Surely no fault of Moroten and his game sense for failing the assault. He definitely had some advantages in his favor, just not quite the right execution. Also, a huge thanks to everybody who's currently watching live. I'm currently hitting what seems to be my highest number of views at 21 people currently live in chat at the moment. So welcome. I appreciate you being here. Please do me the kindness of subscribing to the YouTube channel. It will definitely make my day, make me happy. And if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or catching up, if you were only able to pop in to the stream just for a little bit, feel free to leave a comment as well. if you're watching this later. Definitely a really fun game. Very lucky to be watching it, very lucky to be streaming it live. Thrilled that our players are being prompt with their match scheduling and just being good sports about the whole spectating thing. Really, really great to see in the community. Yeah, it looks like we're going to clear this. I hate this. I'm going to tell Moroten that I hate this. We have a diplomat on the throne, so even if you wanted to do this, just use the diplomat. What is it, like 400 science to secure an alliance? Not science, civics. Let's take a look here. I don't think I know where it is. Tribal alliance. Mission. It's not even 400, it's 400 training. What are we doing? He's going to declare war on this, and these two sites are going to immediately raid him. And I'm pretty sure BullMoose. Oh my goodness, we got an event, and we're going in. We're actually going in for this. Wild. Wild. This is going to take forever. And BullMoose will be aware of that war declaration. And I'm pretty sure the map will notify him if a raid happens too. I don't fully remember that, to be honest. But he can certainly predict it, and he'll have a scout in the region that can see it happening. Let's check this vision just in case. Not quite, but if he does a peek around here at any point, he'll be able to see it happen. He does now know he's at war, so he would assume. Nice, this is great. I love this full clearing. This is exactly what you want to see. I know I keep saying this, but this is great strategy from BullMoose. Let's take a look at his wood. He has 600 wood now. He's losing 35 per turn, but this investment in clearing all these woods is going to pay off. So that's great. Really, really love that. Can't stress that enough. Yeah, no. This, I hate this. Sorry, Moroten. Another ship. Let's see if BullMoose is keeping up on his ships. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the water, and 7th on the way, compared to 3 in the water for Carthage and a 4th on the way. So I just really don't think Carthage is going to get back that naval supremacy. Frankly, I'm a bit surprised that Moose didn't just take all of these ships back to Carthage after healing up and go hunting some more. Even if you try to kill all of these ships and you lose 2 of your own, you still have another 4 left, so why not, right? We went for composite bow on Carthage. Like that, the archers will come in handy. We don't have any food to support them, but it'll come in handy. This is just terrible. Look at this. Look at how much damage we did to an elephant in 1 round. He's going to have to retreat. He's not going to be able to clear this with just 2 elephants. This was a massive misplay. And here we go. Look. Raid. Raid. That's 1. Thankfully, it's only 2 units, but they're coming. That's a big oops right there. That is a big oops. Unfortunate. But it's very easy to lose sight of things once the pressure is on high. Certainly opening your round with a massive defeat is not going to give you a high level of morale and probably not a great level of focus going into the rest of the match. Always a daunting experience when things don't go your way, and it can be easy to let that impact your morale. We have our 7th law. Let's see if we have the foresight to build our stronghold citadels immediately. That's 1. And that's 2. Citadels in 6 turns, which means at least 5 Palatins in 6 turns, assuming we upgrade all of them. We have another one coming on the way. So that'll be 6 Palatins. We do have Zorro here. So no more rebels. Despite the opinions. Wow, he's jumping. This seems a bit much. You have a... maybe he didn't have this before, but now this guy likes him. So just convert the oligarch. Although he doesn't have the civics. But still, that's a bit much. Especially because... let's take a look here. Yeah, right? So you could take all 3 of these luxuries. If you really want to stop this problem, take all 3 of these luxuries. Send them in the city. That'll freeze the discontent, so this won't go up any further. So instead, in 11 turns, this is going to go up another 20% opinion, even just from the one city. Not 20%, another 20 opinion. So you put the luxuries in the city, freeze it out, because this is only giving you like 20 opinion a pop. So yeah, in 11 turns, this level up is going to technically remove one of these luxuries anyway. So you'd be rather to send it here, because that would actually probably push this timer back by like 8 or 9 turns anyway. But yeah, luxuries should go to cities first, and they go to families last. But still, that's funny to me. That's awesome. Maybe he's thinking he wants to get that opinion high enough to allow him to rush some units out before it tanks again. So whatever, I can respect that. Carthage staying in the fight. All right. I guess they won't have to retreat. This won't be able to kill. Oh wait, he might actually lose an elephant doing this. He may actually lose an elephant trying to clear this site. That would be a real shame. All while having a dip. Although you really don't want debauched, because he's probably not having the best time with opinion either. Unfortunately, monasticism would be a good grab for him so he could spread his paganism. Let's keep an eye on that build-up. Carthage careening ahead, climbing back from the brink. Again, really would have... if you just waited. What turn was this? 66? It's 67. Rather than starting right out of the gate with an assault, if you waited 10 turns, you would have been in a much better position than your opponent. You had the lead. You had the might. You had the economic production. Really, really unfortunate. Moroten could have taken this. Could have caused serious issues for Persia with just a little bit more patience. Unfortunate. Of course, with this rising spike in power, that means he's not out of the game yet. Cataphract archers in 6 turns will certainly be a big issue. Yep, he lost an elephant. That is really, really unfortunate. Lost an elephant clearing that site. We have a raid here. Don't have a raid here yet. Back to Persia. Another Palatin. So that will give us 7 Cataphract archers. Once those citadels are done, he can take all of these Palatins, place them in one of these 2 borders, and upgrade every single one into Cataphract archers. And there's really no reason not to do that if you can afford it. And perhaps that's why he wasn't initially building more Palatins at first. He wanted the stockpiles to ensure that he could upgrade those units. Alright, these naval units are taking a peek, forming a perimeter. We're going for a forced march. Nice. I really appreciate defensive formation first. I don't necessarily like how close to the coast this is, because if one of these barbarians wander up, it could just start poking your ship, and that could be annoying. But I suspect... what is he going to do here? This is enough to anchor here, so he'll probably come over here, I guess. There is a force march here. Formation here, and then on the next turn, anchor. You can anchor while in formation. And if nothing else, that would force your opponent to try and come dislodge your units, in which case you react by sending your navy out.
Wait on Moroten to reconnect. I'm going to pause the game.
Right.
Oh, we have a little bit of a disconnect.
Your computer doing okay, man?
Did I disconnect?
I got a notification that you did.
I also got disconnected, so it could have been a host thing.
Oh dear. Okay. Should I save and restart?
Yeah, go ahead, do that. I just lost the connection now. Server connection.
All right, I'm still in the game for now, but I'll... Oh! All right, it just said to me that the server connection has been restored.
What about you, Moroten?
Oh, right. Maybe that might have been the message for me too. I'm still here.
All right. Just to make sure, do you currently see a pause timer?
Yeah, I do.
All right. And do you currently see a unpause timer?
Yes, I do.
All right. Sounds like a connection to me.
All right, we're good to keep resuming the game there. Anyone in chat, let me know if you can hear the players clearly. I want to make sure that when we're ready to do our post-game chat, that they're coming in okay. That's if the session ends today. But I'm not 100% sure of their audio levels. All right, yep, we do have the BullMoose Navy migrating down. So, yep, he's getting in positions here, getting ready to do his anchors, I suspect, trying to draw out that Carthaginian Navy, and then with his massive training stockpiles and sizable order production, he'll be able to swoop in with force marches and deal yet another blow to Carthage. Carthage can see this shape fortifying. We've cleared this camp, ready to settle. It was very difficult to do this at the start of the game, so I don't want to make it sound as if Moroten had much opportunity here, but with his ability to buy tribal units, it's possible he could have invested in clearing a little bit earlier in the game, but of course, BullMoose did apply a heavy bit of pressure up at the top of the map, so I don't fault him for trying. And, you know, maybe this is one way to extend some level of an advantage. I just don't know how this city will contribute that much in the long run. It will give you some yields, a little bit of training, a little bit of civics, but that's mostly about it. Maybe an extra unit in the long run. No mercs have been bought yet. We do have the gold. Let's look at the price. They're 15,000 gold, though, per merc at this stage. So I don't blame him for not gobbling some up now because they're expensive. 15,000, sorry, 1,500 for the peltasts and 1,800 for elite peltasts. So they're quite expensive. Yeah, it is really tricky because even if you do build another military unit, you lost an elephant to get this. So we traded an elephant for a city that at most maybe is going to, build us an onager in 9 turns? An axeman in 7? Certainly not an elephant that we lost. So I can see bringing in it. But my main frustration here is we have a diplomat heir. So he could have done this anyway. We're severely ill. We were old a couple of turns ago. So we could have gotten our diplomat on the throne. We had peaceful, friendly relation. Not friendly, but peaceful relations and peace with the Thracians already, so they had good relations. It would have been 400 training to secure an alliance, which would have been strategically valuable. And then we could have just sent the settler down here to settle on top of the site. So that's a bit unfortunate. That's a bit unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. Again, when you're up against this pressure, really opening this game with a devastating battle is probably going to mess you up for the rest of the game. Of course, in any competitive environment, morale always plays a factor. Keeping your head in the game is a big deal. So I suspect when you're already in a tense match with a skilled opponent, the first half of this game was tense throughout. Both players acknowledged the tension. So I think opening the second half with a massive defeat is going to take the wind out of your sails and probably lead to a couple more mistakes. Very easy to sit back and theorize about the best possible thing to do in any given situation. A lot harder to do it when you're actually facing the pressure yourself. Now going for metaphysics as Persia. Interesting grab here. I don't think I like this. Oh, never mind. I get it. He's going for cartography. Siege might be better, but he's going cartography. This would secure his already pretty clear naval dominance once all of his ships upgrade to triremes. Oh, Alcaris just tuning in. Man, once this is a VOD, or if you can rewind, I don't know if you can rewind on live, but you really should go back and check out the first 10 or 15 minutes of this session. It was brutal. No onager use yet. Onagers are being built, and they are positioning themselves. Interestingly enough, after the onager is being built, he's going right back to African elephants. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like you'd be better with more onagers. A patch of onagers does leave you open for a route, but it's certainly difficult to attack into, because if you don't kill enough of them, then you're just going to get wiped in reply. All right, so we're fortifying here, but not anchoring by Moose. I wonder if Moose knows that you can anchor. Oh, you know what would be really interesting? If he could fortify and then anchor the interior ships, I don't think that's enough range. I don't think that's enough range to make it to the coast. Still, clever if that was his thinking. It might not work out, but I like the idea. More ships. Like that, really relying on this naval supremacy. Gonna do a nice cool pan here. And we're back to Carthage. All right. Moose lost sight of his revealed scout, so we have a dead scout out in the open. A little bit more vision denial for the Moose.
Oh, forgot about him.
Yep. There we go. No vision for Moroten. If Moroten decides to try and attack this ship, that will certainly be a bait. Headed back down to deal with these tribals. This feels like too much of a deviation from your forces, but I suppose that the good thing, if Moose is planning on attacking in the south, he does have units a little bit closer. Still no colonies, but we have some coastal expansion here, thankfully. This will expand it a little bit further. He's going the slow route with hamlets. Ugh, really unfortunate. Where are the other Moose scouts? Moroten must have killed the other moose scout that was here as well. Let's take a peek over at Persian and see if he's got any scouts left. One up top. Yep, he built 2 new scouts. So it does look like Carthage was able to out... Oh, actually, no. The other one's in the water. My bad. Makes sense. Okay. So only 1 scout was hunted down by Carthage. 3 turn on composite archers will help. Still no raid from this camp, which kind of surprises me, to be honest. And that's the last order for Carthage. So onward to Moose. See what he's going to do with these ships. $34 orders per turn on Persia to 28 on Carthage. Plus or minus worker turns. Three more years on both citadels. And aggressive posturing. Oh, I apologize. Persia's still at peace. Persia didn't break peace with the Thracians, so these guys aren't going to aggro him at all. He's fine here. Never mind. In fact, if anything, they would help him if Carthage goes to move in. Yeah, I really think declaring war on the Thracians was a big mistake by Moroten. But we'll see. Oh, I apologize. I'm going to unmute the game. All right, we have a ship in this southern sea, in this bay area. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder what the game plan is here. I mean, you certainly can't attack into this. But I don't see any anchors yet. Maybe we're anchoring next turn. You could anchor with his turn. It could be possible that Moose isn't aware that if you anchor, it won't disrupt your formation. Maybe he's just posturing aggressively here to force the same type of crisis onto Carthage, where Carthage will feel this pressure and feel compelled to put units down in this region, weakening his northern defense. Really strong pressure from Persia. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters which way you anchor and formation. But that is a good question. Question from the chat was, if you anchor in formation, does it delete formation? Or if you do formation in anchor, does it delete anchor? Like, is there an order of operations? That I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. But I'm not a naval expert, so I can't say 100% sure. All right, back to Carthage. Carthage knows there is a massive navy on his shores. It's amazing how much he was able to rebound. All right, we're going in for another scout kill, denying this vision completely. Great, love to see it. And we're creating a naval blockade up north. So yeah, it's only 14 turns later, and we were able to completely recover military strength-wise from that crushing defeat at the start of this session. That's amazing to see. And it's unfortunate because we could have had a much stronger attack if we just waited and took advantage of our military output. Glad you're enjoying the game. Yeah, this is definitely one of the great games we've had so far. Filled with action. BullMoose is proving to be just a delightful entertainer in the multiplayer scene as he is in his own videos. I consider myself lucky enough to have cast each of his games so far. His first match with Mongrel Eyes was tense from the get-go as well, and this game against Moroten has been tense throughout also. So, really nice entertainment when BullMoose takes to the field. And of course, very strong plays from Moroten as well. Really, really enjoyed the early barbarian harass from Carthage. I've never quite seen that happen before, so that was really neat to see, and a nice interesting and unique creative use of early tribal unit purchasing. Still curious if spears will make an appearance in this game where both players have a mounted unit on the field. Really, really curious to see if that will make an appearance. We have tagged it as Carthage. Where are we going? We're going to citizenship. Yep, that's our 7th law. Oh, no, it's only a 6th law. Jesus, that's terrible. We're going for spokesreel. I don't hate it. We haven't seen any spears on our opponent yet, shockingly, so we could make use of route. We do have route on our elephant, so that does fill the niche, but I suppose more and cheaper routers wouldn't hurt. We've seen almost nothing but axes from our opponent outside of the Paltons. Clock is ticking here, though. 8 orders left to spend. 4 seconds. All right, back to Persia. It's on tight, so he can spend the rest of those orders if he needs to. Yeah, Persia, what are we looking on time? 2 more turns. And how many Palatins are we at now? 6. This will be 7. Yeah. This is going to be a massive power spike. Question in chat. Is phalanx enough to deal with 8 strength units? The cataphract archers will certainly eat spears alive. However, they still prove a nuisance. They still do enough damage. I think in response, even to an 8 strength unit, I think a spear still does something about like 5 or 6 damage, which is not nothing. These axes are going to do like 3 or 4, if I remember correctly. So you'll have about a 2 damage increase on a spear versus an 8 strength unit compared to an axeman. So it's not looking good either way, but I think a spear would help. Although chariot on all this open land is going to help too. You do a good job of clearing out all these scrubs, that extra 50% bonus attack will actually do the same thing that a spear would do too. And then that would apply to other units. So actually, I do understand the chariot grab now. All of this open territory. But you're not gonna have that happen down here because little known fact, I think, farms, rural improvements, should I say, get rid of the flat and clear mounted bonus. You literally need a tile that is empty. So if you were to farm this whole region, you would actually nerf your cavalry. I still know anchors from Persia just posturing down in the southern bay. Another bireme coming up. Plenty of archers along the coast. Yeah, looking really, really strong for Persia at the moment. I'd like to see some more onagers. Onagers in these woods, surrounded by things that can protect them, would be really helpful defense in the north. And in the south, you could put onagers up in these mountains and deny access from the sea. That means once anything makes landfall to try and take the city, you're just going to lob units into all these urban tiles, maybe even delete this farm and put an urban tile here and just make it super, super hard to break into this city. So I think I would be preferring onagers to elephants here, but still no spears on Persia, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but onagers are very, very useful. So one thing that might be nice about this city, it's a little wacky, but it does make the raid target this city. Although now we have this raid coming up. This is actually going to be funny. Because these are now raiders, all of these will actually attack Moose's units. So he kind of got himself in the middle of a raid, in front of a raid right here. That's not ideal. We're still working on clearing out these Thracians, though. I hope he remembers, because we don't want to lose another elephant for this nonsense. We actually might. Oh, that would be awful. Yeah, definitely not the part in a game where you want to start going back to like the PvE experience of dealing with tribes and trying to clear stuff. But he could feel like he's out of options. 20 training in Carthago versus 36 training in Shadowfax, otherwise known as Parsa. 22 training, 28 training, 14 and 12 to 19, 14, 19, 14. Yeah, so slight edge in productive capabilities to Persia. All right. Seaborn out in the ocean. Like that promotion. Rushing another bireme. Not really a fan of that, but, you know, I guess it makes sense. He's worried about this naval conflict. I really think once all of these are fully fortified, he can just anchor up and force Carthage to come to him. We do have a fire ship, though. That's really nice. I feel like I would put that inside. We have grappler on the table if we want. So you could combo these. You could grapple one ship and then fire ship it away, which will stick it away from you in a turn and prevent it from attacking you. Prevent it from being able to counterattack that turn. Nice little 1-2 punch you can do there. Definitely on the back foot. Carthage is definitely reacting now. Running out of any measure of woods he can place his scouts. This stealth mechanic will increase the value of Portcullis. Oh, we are going to, we're going back to phalanx now. Yeah, I think that's a good call. Either one would work, I think, at this stage, but phalanx probably makes sense. Although your opponent still has a bunch of axes, so maybe not. I don't know. Tough call, man. This back and forth of which units counter which other units is a tricky thing to juggle. So maybe if your opponent doesn't have any spears, you go chariots instead. All right, we have our tribal units, and we have a first attack against Moose. Moose is going to realize, crap, I'm going to tank all of these raider attacks. can get more courage. Can go up to 9 courage on his heir if he wants it, or get more orders. Wild. That heir is on a Palton. Which one is the question? The ruler is here. Oh, it's him. He took the throne. Never mind. The old ruler died, or did we have... Yeah, we had another death. So we have our third hero on the throne. Nice, young, 29 years old. Soon to be 9 courage if he takes it. This... Or maybe he could take gracious for the 2. No, he went for the 9 courage. So we have plus 37 attack, and that's going to be on an 8 strength unit soon. He's swift. It's a swift, ruthless hero. That is devastating. And that's just going to plow through Carthage, man. This is not looking good. Coming up, doing some advanced scouting. There are some woods left he can get into. Let's see if he notices that. You got to kill. Clear to scout out in the open. Take another look at what these... These are just Paltons, man. And they can do 8 damage to these onagers. Oof. Alright. Doing some damage to these raiders. Helping Carthage out. What a nice guy. Good, nice collaboration down south from Persia. Against the heathen Thracian raiders. Love to see it. Love to see a little bit of teamwork in this competitive field. Alright, we're gearing up for an assault. We can tell because these units are getting right on the coast. Increasing their movement. Moose is aware of his advantage here. Take a look at that power graph. Yep, rising each turn. Still no anchors, though. Alright, maybe this guy will anchor? Definitely, if you're Carthage, this is all the type of stuff you just do not want to see. This massive build-up along a coast. Nearly 20 units now for Persia in the field. About 15 units in the field for Carthage. And then the bulk of Persia's force should be able to upgrade to 8 strength units next turn. No formations here. Just a tight configuration along the coast. Onager, more African elephants. And a warrior. That's not a good sign. Oh, we're thinking, that's going to be a spear. Yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. He's doing that to make it into a spear. That's fine. Really a big bummer that he'd have to delegate these resources to this down. He's building a worker, too. Oh, that's just... All right. Trying to outlast, trying to play the long game. Let's actually take a look at that science for now. Still a nice, strong lead for Carthage. It's going to be really difficult to translate this into a win in his current state, but certainly not impossible. This seems like a mistake. Oh, he's going to mess this up. This Seaborn is ocean only. He's currently on coast. He needs to step out into the ocean to get that 20% attack. This has gotten me before. This has tricked me before. I wouldn't knock the science rate in this game just because they've been at each other's throats all game long. So I understand it. They really have been spending a good amount of time building military units because of the pressure that they've been forcing on each other. Yeah, so I've messed this up before. Seaborne is specifically ocean. So we have two different types of tiles. If we look at the tooltip down here, we have ocean here, ocean, and we have coast, which is literally the tile that hugs the coast. Oh, man, massive rebel spawn from an event. Is he in a rebellion? No, doesn't look like it. They're just pissed off. That must have been an event. Oh, this was autonomous rule, maybe? No? I don't know. I can't think of an event that, other than autonomous rule, that spawns 4 rebels at once. Anyway, yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting turn for BullMoose. I feel like Carthage just killed their navy. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we have. Can only do 5 damage. Can't do enough to kill any one unit. But I'd like to see some formations on these. And we're not seeing the circle formation. You get another 5 defense. 5 or 10%. Yeah, so... Well, we're definitely overdue for a ocean promo. And here we go. Mass upgrade to Paladins. Here it is right here. Every single one. Let's take... Sorry, Cataphract Archers. Let's take a look. He's doing one more. Let's take a look. Disgusting. I hate to say it, but if you're new or inexperienced to the game, assuming Moose knows what he's doing and he's been demonstrating that he knows what he's doing, this is pretty much GG. It's very difficult to deal with a mass of 8 strength units when your opponent, when here come the anchors, when you don't have any of your own. Just really, really difficult to deal with. Not unbeatable, but this is very, very powerful power spike. Basically, being the first person on the map with 8 strength units is an incredibly powerful position to be in. So if at any point in the game you get a science or a law lead, that's how you want to try and leverage that lead. You want to figure out, where is my fastest route to an 8 strength unit, and you need to press that advantage. I love this advanced scouting, just diving right in there and then popping right back out. He can see the state of Carthage here. He can see his advantage, lining himself up for an attack. Great, great tactical use of these scouts here. Not even bothering to... He can dip this guy into the ocean. Would probably want to see that, but whatever, who cares? There's a bunch of rebels. So, Moose has his full upgrade. He has his full anchors. He's scouted. He's literally ready to just dive in right after this with a timing attack on his 8th strength unique unit. Held off the Carthage invasions one after the other. 3 different fights, I think it was. And now, after 50 or 60 turns from the first time Persia set foot in Carthage trying to deny the city site, Persia is ready to go take the offensive into Carthaginian territory once more. Rebels in the trader's seat, raiders from the south, naval buildup everywhere. A beautiful sight to behold in this game that we love so much. Yep, and we don't have the same advantage that we had when Carthage attacked into Persia, which this coast still isn't fully connected. We're going deep here with a ship what you want to do in this situation is deny these anchors. Although, what's interesting is actually this ship never anchored. So, Moose doesn't actually have full naval movement. Although it looks like he can get here, and I don't understand how. Nice. Dislodging that with the fire ship. That's certainly, if this one didn't get rid of that anchor.
Fire ship, cool.
That fire ship certainly did its job. It's definitely dead, but it did its job denying that anchor one turn. Great tactical use of the fire ship there by Moroten. Love to see it. Strong eyes for what promotions you can use and in what ways you can press your advantage with them. If Moroten, in fact, it's entirely possible, if Moroten, I wouldn't, oh, wow, he can go for a kill. Okay. All right, we have a first kill. This is going to zone of control lock these ships into this bay. We have a very real naval conflict happening. I would have sent this ship down here because you want to protect from the third attack. This ship will die, but that's fine. I mean, whatever. You're still making progress down here. This is great to see. Neapolis is burning. There's fires in the Ligurian Sea and raiders from Thrace. What a great match. What a great match. I love this game so much. Kudos to both of our players. This is just amazing to watch. Of course, Moroten doesn't know of the absolute nightmare that's waiting in the north to descend upon his nation. Persia is currently targeting triremes.
Hey,
yes.
Sion, I don't know if it's talking out of school, but does circle break when you attack?
No comment.
Understood.
I know that's a mechanics question, but I mean, if you're in a competitive match and you don't know...
It does not.
Nice experiment. Yeah, I'm happy to help with rules, queries, and all things like that. But if you don't know how mechanic works and you're playing in a competitive match, I mean, respectfully to BullMoose, he's playing fantastic, but I'm not gonna let people know how stuff works in the middle of a match. But I do appreciate the question. And yeah, he was able to figure it out. And now we have a devastating reply from Moose. Love to see it. This is definitely going in the highlight reel. Headed back, healing up. All right, this is amazing. What, do we have any movement up north? No, not yet. 20 orders left to spare, though. Ugh, goodness. All right, let's take a look at that. Yep, 43 orders for Persia. Persia doing Persia things, and 30 orders for Carthage. That's another devastating thing. Interestingly enough, I love this. Persia failed to kill the fire ship this turn. So Moroten still has another... I mean, this ship's definitely dead. There's no point in trying to save it at this point, I don't think. So Moroten does have another card to play by dislodging anchor one more time, and I think he could kill all of these ships down here, potentially? Oh no, that formation really sucks to deal with, huh? They're doing no damage to these things. Oof. Look at this. Look at this comparison. 8 damage over here from this ship compared to 5. Formation definitely works, and these ships would counter. So you'll take 5 in response. Still positioning from Persia. Looking for a way in. Let's take a look here at the damage we can do. This is just nightmarish. This is the ruler, so this is likely the most powerful unit he has. We have 3 combat promotions and the massive 9 courage. So we're looking at 13 to 16 damage on any given unit. Even in these woods right here, you're looking at 13 to 14 damage from that ruler. So yeah, 1 swift, and he can make it all the way to over here. So 1 swift assault from these cataphract forces, and I think the game is clearly over for Moroten. I don't suspect there's going to be any response he can give to this massive force of cataphract archers. And let's see, grab the furthest one away. The furthest one away is, well, that's a paladin, so let's just grab the cataphract. The furthest one away can still make it to the front line of Carthage and do some serious damage. This is a regular cataphract with just a couple of combat promotions and no general. Yeah, so, all right, back to Carthage. Let's see what we got. Such is always the case in these climactic moments that now's the time that your nation decides to betray you and the rebels come. All right, there goes the fire ship. I don't think he's going to be able to dislodge this other anchor. He might be able to. He's going for a kill here instead. All right, that's 1 more bireme down from Persia. Going for a heal. Let's take a look at the total. We have 4 water ships for Carthage compared to 6 for Persia. Not looking great, but I admire this will to hang on and fight. Persia has but to cross these plains and deliver a decisive blow.
Leading ships have no zone of control. That would make a lot of sense.
Yep. Yes, indeed. This is always a fun treat for players engaging in a naval battle. In single player, you're just never going to have a naval battle of this magnitude. So if you think playing a multiplayer match for the... Oh, yeah, I can do that. If you've never played... if you think it's difficult playing a multiplayer match for the first time, try experiencing your first naval battle for the first time. It is filled with a wealth of surprises and confusing moments that are bound to upset you in some form or another. I was lucky enough to play a bunch of Punic dual maps with Fluffy Bunny where we really went at it with ships, and it was quite a bit of an education. All right, so the question in chat was what launch offensive does. So basically the hero, if you spend 800 training, which we don't yet currently have, you can activate launch offensive, which will allow every single unit adjacent to this unit, not this unit itself. So technically, you don't want this hero on your strongest unit. It's a little bit weird how it works now, because 9 courage, you're going to want to attack with that. So you basically have to decide between a massive attack with 1 unit or an even more massive attack with up to 6 units, because if you launch offensive, after any unit nearby that has already attacked this turn will get to attack again. Sorry, I'm going to look at the fight. I basically need to decide... Honestly, Moose could just dump this bay and let the raiders do the work and just go north. He's going in for a kill there. He's going in for another kill here. Does he have it? He does. And a defeat at sea. Another defeat at sea for Carthage. Battle after battle. These units are locked into this bay with a titan of a ship in this formation, waiting to counterattack. Solid tactics here. Really love to see this. What a delightful match. Yes, but so anyway, launch offensive will if units attack, so this unit could come up attack. Once you get your hero next to that unit, if you launch offensive, any unit that has already attacked will get to attack again. So you can get up to 6 units surrounding your hero leader and get them all to attack a second time on the same turn. It's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful, but a little difficult to use because the hero itself goes on cooldown and doesn't get to attack at all. So you basically trade your hero attack for a massive attack with 3 to 6 units. All right, so I feel like Moose is just securing his naval supremacy here, and I really would like to see it push north. This is a Paladin. This could be a fort to get upgraded. He might not notice that it's a Paladin. Yep, troops are making their way north. He might realize there's no real need to stay south, but also he could reposition his navy, anchor all throughout the sea, and then those cataphracts will be able to go anywhere. They'll just be able to teleport to any part of Carthage. Now that he's secured this naval movement, really not much else Moroten can do here. He's building biremes everywhere. That's the other problem. He's not necessarily wrong, but the bigger issue isn't that your opponent's army can cross the ocean. Well, I guess actually that is the biggest issue, but the biggest part of that, the biggest thing with that issue is that they have an army, period. So throwing more ships into the water at this stage is just gonna still result in a bunch of more military units on land for your opponent. There does eventually come a moment where you have to concede control of the ocean to your opponent, I think. This is why I would have liked to see onagers up in these hills or even in this central location, because you could be firing onager fire into the ocean right now. Let's look what an onager would do. That's not nothing, right? That's 7 damage. So a couple of onagers here in these tiles on these hills would be devastating this fleet. So rather than building elephants, rather than building ships, once you unlock machinery, you should have been building onagers and just filling these tiles with as many onagers you can here. 3 or 4 onagers down here, 3 or 4 onagers up here, and then just keep adding 1 to each side. Keep scaling up over and over and over again. Because even if, let's take a look at an onager into a cataphract. So that's awful. That's only 4 damage, right? That sucks. But if you have enough of them and the Paladins can't come in and rout too many of them, well, then you're still going to have all of this damage potential to counterattack with. A carpet of onagers is incredibly difficult to deal with unless you can rout the majority of them, which is another use of having spears, by the way. Even if the Paladins can kill them easily, that still stops them from routing all of your onagers. Let's take a look at the power graph now. Some wobbling back and forth. Nope, that's orders. Power graph. Yep. Climbing ahead from that cataphract upgrade, and Carthage is slowly faltering. Machinery in 9 turns for Persia. I really hope he doesn't feel like he needs to wait for that, to be honest, because I just don't think he does. He doesn't have the vision to see this damage, although he did bring a scout here at one point. All right. And Persia already moving a scout. Coming up to scout this back line. Sees it looking a little light back here. Ships moving in. Securing the last of that naval supremacy. Rebels and raiders. Moose can see these raiders, so Moose knows that Moroten is stuck dealing with this nightmare. Distracting his forces, wasting his orders. Some nice deep scouting. Doesn't yet look like he's going to be in a position to be attacking with his main force this turn, but I feel like this should tell him he's good to go. This vision should let him know that he's good to go. Yeah, honestly, I would just force march all the way up here and just reveal the whole thing if I were him. Just do one big loop. One big loop, expose everything, and then start counting. You know, you could count the whole troops. You can grab your units right here. Do the damage calculations. You know? Take a minute on your opponent's turn after you've revealed everything. And, end it. But, you know, he's doing a fine job. You know, he's scouting. That's what he needed to do. But definitely not enough orders to launch an attack just yet. So I'd just get more vision and see if anything's up here. But probably isn't. So that's pretty reliable. All right. Still making a boat. I like that. He's saying, no, this ocean is mine. Definitely won't be losing naval superiority anytime soon. Strong economy on Persia, even with all these horses. Cataphract archers take metal. He still has 91 food coming in per turn. And, well, actually, no, the upkeep is metal, right? Not food. Yeah, that's the other fantastic thing about this unique unit. The upkeep's metal, not food. So it still takes up a lot of food to build the damn thing, but you can just pay for it with mines and don't really need to use metal that much. It's great. But yeah, he has plenty of income either way. 91 food per turn, 97 iron per turn, so he can effectively start building or choose to rush a cataphract archer every single turn. He doesn't have the civics to rush every turn, but he can certainly build one whenever one's ready to be built. Take a look here at how many turns it takes him. It only takes him 5 turns to build a cataphract archer. 5 turns to build an 8 strength unique unit is certainly a very powerful position to be in. All right, we are in Carthage. Coming in to the final hour here. Oh, we got a general on that. We chose not to route. Oh, we have another elephant, so I guess we can do it with that. The final stand of our last ship in the water. Oh, no. Are we pulling units away from the front? Trying to get a kill on the ship. Doing everything he can to keep the pressure, to keep his opponent at bay. Really, really difficult spot to be in. I think the writing is on the wall here. We just need Moose to pull the trigger. Put his opponent down, relieve him of this tension, of this suffering, deal the final blow and proclaim yourself Emperor of the Ionian Sea. Moroten, a well-fought game, will very, very likely be sent down to the elimination bracket to fight for survival and his position in this tournament. Fun is certainly one word for it. Chat says it will be a fun final battle. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I genuinely think BullMoose has the potential to delete this army in like 1 second. Look at how much damage this does. 8 damage to it. This is a fully fortified unit. 7 or 8 damage. BullMoose is just going to breathe on Moroten and his army is going to collapse. We're retreating. And this is one of those things. I mean, this is definitely... it's certainly, I suppose, better to be overly cautious than attack too soon, right? If you're winning and you're going to build up in another 5 or 10 turns, then, well, you can only just win more, right? As opposed to attacking too early and having that momentum shift, which we've seen already happen in this game. So I certainly don't blame BullMoose, but it's, from an observer's perspective, of course, it can be a little grating here because it's like you have... How many of these units? You have like 7 or 8 strength units when your opponent's still running around with slingers on some of his units. He's stuck down here dealing with this nightmare. I wouldn't even be wasting any orders retreating my ships and healing them up. I'd just be diving right in if it were me. But it's Moose's game and he can end it how he sees fit. It seems like he wants to return fire on this coastal invasion. Or maybe he's really trying to force his opponent to abandon this northern position and then go across this way. Because really, oh no, we have our cataphracts lining up. He wants to cross the sea. He wants to do the cool thing, not the quick thing. I dig it. Ending it with style, not a problem. Doing it for the content. That's why we're here, right? This will be really fun to see. Yep. He could even do a 2-pronged attack, to be honest. These things have enough movement where he could do both. Be curious to see how he plays that out. Of course, I can't keep track of both, so I'm going to have to zoom back and forth a bunch. I'll try to follow his movements. Really, really appreciate this use of scouting. Consistent border popping. There we go. Dive a little bit deeper. Let's walk right up to Carthage and see what they have. Nope. Run back to the ocean. We still can see most of it, though, here. Beautiful Ishtar Gate. I love that wonder. Both the way it looks and also what it does. All right, back to Carthage. I think you can hear the sounds of trumpets echoing from the mountainside in Carthage. Doom is upon us, whether Moroten knows it or not. If you're still with us live, or you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, just a reminder, if you've enjoyed this game, if you've enjoyed these castings, you enjoyed the tournament so far, please give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Feel free to go to the Mohawk YouTube channel. There's a playlist of every multiplayer match. We're covering the majority of them. Multiple Twitch streamers and YouTube streamers, content creators are both players in the tournament and casting in the tournament. Feel free to go around, like, subscribe, comment on the different accounts. Really help the buzz, really help the algorithm pick these games up so we can get more love and attention for this game that we all love and we want to see be successful. Less for our own success. I don't really care about views and subscribers, but I do want Mohawk to make more and more money So they will keep developing my favorite game of all time. This tournament has been a tremendous amount of fun for me to keep track of, and I just love that I get to spend my afternoon sitting here watching this game get played and chatting with people and providing great entertainment for everybody. So I appreciate you all being here, and a big shout out to our players for making this possible. And Moroten, if you are watching this after the fact, don't take the defeat too hard. You played this game very well, and you had a lot of awesome creative opportunities. I definitely think BullMoose was sweating for most of this match. All right, here we are, back to Persia. Ready to anchor, and look how deep we can get into this territory. Look how much damage Neapolis can fall this turn instantly. Nothing will stop it from falling this turn if he goes straight for it, I'm pretty sure. Although, I guess maybe the ranged attacks. You can certainly get the wall down. He might not be able to kill the elephant. Although, no, because you could launch offensive. Yeah, you could do that. Put a couple paladins up on these hills. On this hill, anyway. That'll increase the range there. How much damage would that do? Yeah. He has lots of fun, interesting opportunities to attack multiple sides. I'm going to try and get down here. We're going straight in. Looks like we're going for kills, and we're going to rout this whole thing. Do I not have... I don't have fun movements on. Damn it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Gonna try to do that real quick. Alright, now I'm gonna try and do it real quick. Forgive me, sorry. Oh, I don't have instant movement. That's weird. What's happening? Huh. Okay, well, never mind. Sorry about that. Oh, and we have our good old friend, the military worker. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Put a worker in the way of your opponent. Interesting. 11 orders left. So, this is pretty devastating. There's really not much response here. You're only doing 4 damage to these things with your elephant, which is arguably your best unit. An onager on the hill would do 7 or 8. 7 or 5, rather. So again, that's another reason why it would have been nice to stock these hills with onagers. Love the scout here. You can comfortably sit it there indefinitely. And then this is the other real devastating thing about mounted units. I've been asked more than once why I think the mounted units are the best unique units in the game, and I'm going to show it off to you right now. We do have a swift ruler on the throne, so we'll factor that into what I'm about to show you, but I'm just going to demonstrate it pretty easily. Let's grab one unit. This one unit can make it all the way over here, and look, it will do 4 damage. So when you're in a position of such strength like this, you literally just take 1 or 2 ranged unit, sorry, not ranged unit, mounted unit, you force march it, you attack. Take this one, you force march it, you attack. Take another one, you force march it, you attack. And then you put your opponent in a situation where they can't produce or rush anything from their cities. Because if they keep building as a slinger, well, then it's still going to take 4 damage every turn. And then eventually you'll come in with another mounted unit and just take the city. But if they keep repairing, then they stop building military units. The only risk you run into when you do that is, let's say we force march a unit up here. Sorry, to attack Malith. And then sure, he comes in with all these units and attacks it and kills it. Fine, you lost 1 unit, but you still shut down 3 build queues at the cost of 1 unit. So when you're at an advanced position, you know, you don't need to fight a war and try to plan on never losing a unit. You can sacrifice units, and that is a powerful usage of mounted units. You break into a nation like this. You have a strong superiority. You have the 8 strength unit superiority. You have better production, more reinforcements in tow. So what you do is you blitz your entire opponent down with 1 or 2 Paltons or Lancers or whatever else into all these cities, put damage on the cities, and look, if there were damage on the city, he wouldn't be able to do that. You completely cripple you completely cripple a nation in one fell swoop by running around. And that's why I think mounted units are exceptionally powerful once you start winning. They basically allow you to win one battle and then instantly make a nation collapse. This is especially true in single player. Obviously, when we're playing multiplayer, the human opponents are more skilled, but I actually have a video where I played Persia. It's one of my Game of the Week's live streams, and it was a very difficult game. And then eventually 4 or 5 hours into that game, I won instantly because I got cataphract archers. And when I say instantly, it still took me like another 2 hours to do it, but just the nation I was fighting collapsed because you can just blitz them one city after another immediately. Very, very strong tactic. So we'll see if Moose picks up on that here. Definitely can't stop the production now because these have already been rushed. But he might have enough power to bring this down. Maybe. Not quite. But yeah, that's... And there's a worker here now in the way. Yeah, so I like to just drive deep and just disable my opponent's ability to build anything. Certainly risky, though. I'm not going to pretend it's not risky. It certainly is. But if you have confidence... I'm also a risky player. I take risks in this game. That's half of why I lose. Which isn't to discount any of the opponents who have beaten me, of course. But I'm comfortable with taking risks. And that means sometimes I misjudge situations and misplay games and lose fights that I thought I could win. Very, very nice. Wow, look at that damage. That is massive. That is massive. Does he have the means to kill this thing? I don't think he does. He might not remember the launch offensive thing, that he can't launch offensive now that he's attacked. He could put a couple of Palton on this hill, but not enough. And this, Alcaris, if you're watching, is why we don't need 2 range Paltons. They're strong enough as they are. And also, that's what makes the Lancer unique. The Lancer can't route, and it works a little bit differently, but the Egyptian Lancer is nice because the Egyptian Lancer is a two range unit. If the Palton was 2 range, then there'd just be no point in ever building Lancers. Persia would clearly be better than Egypt. But I think the distinction between having the 1 range and route versus the 2 range and extra movement on Lancer is what sets them apart quite nicely. It does look like he's going to be able to take this. Does he have more archers? Yeah, he has another archer in tow. Neapolis will fall, and I believe... Actually, it won't, because he doesn't have anyone here to take the city. So he should kill this. Oh, he's out of orders. I don't think he wants to spend the training for this. Yeah, he won't be... He doesn't have the damage. Fun. All right, so... Devastating attack. That city is coming down. We've made landfall with the bulk of our forces. Still feels a little risky. He's going to win, but I mean, just in terms of actual tactics here, still feels a little risky relying on literally a 2-tile pass to get into your opponent. If Carthage had anything else left in the tank, this would be difficult. But I'm sure, I mean, Moose does know what he has because of these scouts, so no real risk there. Moroten is hanging on. I love it. Look at this. This is incredible. Yes, a rush onager will come out even if the city is fully damaged. Once it's rushed, once the city has full production on the unit, no amount of damage on the city will prevent it from being produced unless you capture the city. "18 orders left, trying with everything he has to beat back the relentless Persian assault. The Battle of Neapolis rages on. Fires in the countryside." Ooh, that's my first time hearing the elephant. That was awesome. Great. Coming in with axes, every last bit he can get. He actually scores a kill. We love it. Killing a chariot. Onagers on the hills. That's what we want to see. Another onager on the hill. Great. They're not going to survive much. A little too late, but that's, the right idea. All right. Not sure seeing anything else left in the tank for Carthage here. Should be over in 1 or 2 more turns. We do have the boys on call with us, so we can promptly get into our post-game chat. Yeah, look at this. These onagers, if this city was stacked, because you can even get onagers back here and still do some damage, right? This is a cataphract archer. Clearly, the leader's not going to take that much damage, but you'd still be able to do 10 damage onto a cataphract archer sitting on urban. So don't discount the power of siege here. Still would have been very difficult, but... All right, there goes a slinger. Interesting, he's going south with his ruler. I feel like he would have had an opportunity to come up here and clear out this whole path. Coming in for a rout, and Neapolis falls. Neapolis is no more. Yeah, I think it would have been smart to try and take out these onagers, but it is what it is. I don't think he'll actually lose a cataphract even at this point. And we're coming up with our navy just in case. "12 orders left. Really bringing down the hammer. No movement in the north. Really love the coastal... Oh, we got a raid. Did we end up at war? We ended up at war, so we have a raid, but we don't need to deal with that. It doesn't matter. Just end the game. Doesn't matter if your cities are burning, if you're the greatest nation in the world.
Moose. I think you won.
I think I hear you, Moroten, but I apologize. I'm hearing some loud voices. Are you conceding, my friend?
Yeah, that's the case.
All right.
Beautiful game. Really enjoyed it.
Moroten
You are way more experienced than I am, at least when it comes to
Conceits.
combat and on the sea.
Yeah, the sea's a new one, but I did a lot of reading up on it. After losing those boats, I'm like, all right, I got to get my head in the game on that one. So, yeah, a little bit of studying some game tape.
I was so taken aback by your fleet all of a sudden reappearing. I thought I defeated it, and you quickly produced a new one.
There were a couple of turns after the last defeat. I think there might have been maybe one or two turns, but yeah, the new fleet was already in the works, and you put me in a position where I had to use a whole bunch of civics to rush out at least another two boats.
All right, so that's the victory.
Oh well, good. Well played.
Good game, well played,
Win.
my friend.
Good game, guys. I just wanted to chime in and say that I appreciate both of you. You both played very, very well. Moroten, don't take the defeat too hard. You played awesome. I really, really appreciated the early raid, buying those tribal barbarian mercs and sending them into Persia. I think you reacted well to Bullmoose's early attack, and also you kept momentum up really well. You had a pretty decent lead consistently throughout the game. I think your big issue was that the two major attacks that you ended up launching were just like not quite enough sort of thing. So you suffered two defeats back to back, and it was so hard to recover from there. But you played very, very well, and of course you do get another game in the lower bracket to stay in the tournament. You're not out yet, so very well done.
Thanks. Looking forward to another game and some revenge.
Yeah.
Hope to God I see you again in the tournament, my friend. That was a really fun game.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you kind of putting me on my toes in a couple of ways. First off, I gave a whole bunch of kudos to you before the game for your judge pick. I'm frankly obsessed. I think that's going to be some new things I'm going to try out. I'll leave the spoilers there. But honestly, overall, very cool strategies coming out of you. A whole bunch, some new things I haven't seen before.
Thanks.
Yeah, I actually like the judge pick too. I especially like the loyal judge pick. You really leaned into a heavy income source there, which makes sense with Carthage and the ability to purchase mercenaries. So I was actually thinking about that myself all week after watching the first half of the game. I was like, loyal judge. I love a judge opener. I'm personally, the judge is one of my favorite archetypes, so I'm not unfamiliar with opening with a judge, but I've never tried loyal on it before. And combining it with Carthage merc buying, I can see that being a very strong strategy. So yeah, definitely some things I picked up from watching you, Moroten. You're certainly a skilled player. Of course, the multiplayer arena is a little bit difficult. You got that time pressure, but you definitely played well. And I really liked how the two of you were passing the ball back and forth in the first half of the game with that early harass. I feel like it almost basically made it impossible in conjunction with the difficult terrain down south to expand beyond these 5 cities because you guys were just up in each other's business almost constantly. So that was really cool to watch, and it was a very entertaining match. Thanks again to you both.
Thanks. I was so taken aback by how small this map was. I never played on a square duel before, so yeah,
It is
I
a
was
tiny boy.
surprised when you declared war on me.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why we do have map choice and style set up as part of one of the things you can decide depending on what pick you have, because you can pick a smaller arena like this if you're comfortable getting up close and personal very quickly, or if you want a more time and more room to breathe, you can go for a wider map. So there's definitely something to consider when you set up your next games.
I'm definitely more of a knife fighter, so getting to pick the smaller map is definitely more my speed as opposed to a city builder. So if anybody's looking for the meta, there it is.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's one of the reasons why things that Alchemist and I both talked about when talking about some of the rules and pick stuff, because he is very much a builder, a greedy player, so he prefers the ultra wide setting. But I want to be up close and personal as well. So it was just kind of this idea. It's like, well, if he and I face each other and we get the map that either of us wants, it's like that's a huge advantage. So we're trying to make it so that players can decide whether they want the pick or whether they want the arena. So definitely seems like an okay way to do it so far. Moose, I do have one question for you.
Go ahead.
Is there any reason why you didn't just blitz across the northern plains when you had you established naval pressure down south, and I really liked the naval battle. It was just a real treat to see. I think that the first real and the biggest naval battle we've had in the tournament. But I was kind of looking at the damage output that you had on your cataphract archers, and it felt like you could have just zoomed across the plain and obliterated that northern army a lot earlier.
No, it's a good point. I think the tournament has definitely made some things a little bit more conservative. Like if this was single player, then all in. But my internal politics was completely in shambles. I really needed to work on the opinion of my family, so I figured, I'm giving myself a little bit of time here and there to improve my internal before I expand on out. And I was trying to see if I could put Moroten on his back foot by trying to put pressure in the south to bring some of those troops away. Not that I might have been able to blitz in and do it without it, but I figured, might as well use every trick in the bag.
Yeah, no, definitely a clear advantage there by and he kind of did the same thing to you at first with pulling your attention in two different directions. One thing I noticed too, huge kudos here, and this is definitely something to look out for in the future, Moroten. BullMoose actually spent 5 or 6 turns in the colonies law. When he got serfdom, when he got navigation, he adopted colonies first, and he purchased all of these tiles along the coast. And I honestly think that was like a game-defining play because it allowed him to completely maneuver his units in response to your initial naval invasion because that was already set up. Whereas conversely, you, on the other hand, never actually got that naval movement setup, which made it so much harder for you to reposition your troops back and forth. So colonies can be really clutch, and just kudos to you, Moose, there. I was very impressed by that too. Yeah, so definitely makes sense to play conservative. If you have a lead, you can either end the game, or if you make the wrong call, then momentum can just swing wildly back in your opponent's favor. So I can appreciate a little bit of conservatism there. I'm a risky player, and often that can cause me to lose a game. So I definitely get it. But anyway, thank you guys both for playing. It was an amazing watch. You both played very well, and I look forward to seeing more games from both of you.
I can't wait to watch the narration, man. It has been the hardest thing over the last couple of days to not watch that video. So that's what I'm going to do immediately afterwards.
Awesome.
I concur.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. I look forward to it. Definitely appreciate any comments or feedback. And yeah, it was just a real treat to watch this game. It was one of the best in the tournament so far, I think. So yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, we're here for the content.
All right, I am gonna hop out of this Discord
GG. Take
call and end the stream now. So thanks again, everybody, for playing. Let's just do a quick stat recap if you're still with us. So wealth is massively in BullMoose's favor. Moroten apparently works for the devil because we have 6666 wealth there. Even on specialists, slight advantage to BullMoose on workers. Military unit produced. See, Carthage, this is the thing. Carthage built way more military units than Persia. Had an advantage there for most of the game. It's just it came down to tactics and a couple of failed attacks, which really set momentum in Moose's favor. And then, of course, he got those Palatins into cataphract archers, which is just a devastating 1-2 punch. Yeah, we'll see here again, coming back to tactics, 14 units lost for BullMoose, 45 units lost to Carthage. And yep, 7 laws. That's definitely one of the ways you can instigate a win in this meta. If you get 7 laws quickly and your opponent just can't muster any 8 strength units or a sizable defense, that can be game defining. 17 technologies on Moose to 15. And I just want to look at improvements here as well. 89 improvements. Persia did advance well there. This is the endgame power graph, endgame order graph. Persia be doing Persia things, and let's look at the science. See, we had a massive science lead for most of the game, or at least a slight science lead. We started from behind, and this is one thing I do want to note for Moroten, if you watch this commentary and you make it to the end, and also for our players, keep in mind, this is a judge start versus a schemer. So Moose had a science boost lead with that schemer opener. There's been some question and talk about schemers opening the games. in this tournament so far. But honestly, Moroten did very, very well here utilizing his judge, because don't forget, as a governor, he can buy specialists right away. So a lot of this science starts coming in from the officers that he started bringing online, and it got a clear lead for most of the game. He just wasn't able to leverage it into a win. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate the comments. Thanks for participating. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, please subscribe. Please follow everybody, and tune in next time for another game in the Old World Community Tournament. I'm Siontific, and have a great day.